Hi, my name is Helen. And yes, I am a woman. Welcome to my podcast, a podcast with scary stories I have written. But I have chosen to record it with an AI voice, and if you ever heard mine, you know why. Are you ready? I hope you locked your doors, checked under your bed, and turned the lights off. Because now it's time for frightful fiction. Do you dare to listen? William and Linda sit together in the stillness of her car, parked just outside the hospital. The air is thick with unsaid words, and William can't help but glance at Linda, his partner, no, his soon-to-be wife. The thought fills him with warmth, though it's tinged with an uneasy undercurrent. It had been 8 days since he proposed, a moment of pure joy marking their 3rd anniversary. They had kept the engagement a secret, wanting to find the right time to share the news. But time had been cruel to them, wrapped in the somber shadow of grief. Dennis, his brother, had been drowning in sorrow as their mother's death anniversary loomed closer, and the idea of adding a joyful announcement seemed almost disrespectful. They had intended to share their happiness after the hike, a symbolic escape from the weight of their recent sorrows. But then, everything changed. The hike turned into something else entirely, a catalyst for chaos, leaving no room for celebration. And now here they are, still holding on to their secret. Or, secrets is a better choice of word. I see you're still wearing the ring, William said softly, his eyes catching the glint of the diamond on Linda's finger. Don't forget to take it off before we meet my siblings. The last thing we need is them finding out because they see your big, beautiful diamond ring. He said. Linda smiles faintly. Of course, I'll take it off later. But I don't understand why we haven't told them yet. Her voice carried a subtle edge, one that William wasn't used to. Linda was always so calm, so warm, but today, there was something different in her tone, a strain beneath the surface. We will, William assured her, though the conviction in his voice felt hollow, even to him. He drums his fingers on the steering wheel, a nervous habit he couldn't seem to shake. It's just, right now isn't the right time, he said. The silence that followed was heavy. The kind of silence that lies on you and presses down on you. Linda didn't respond, and William wondered if she was truly angry or just tired, or maybe both. He knew this wasn't easy for her, for either of them, but there was so much more at play now, more than just the engagement. Are you sure you don't want me to come with you? William asked, breaking the silence. He places his hand on her thigh, hoping to comfort her. We could make up an excuse if the others wonder why it took so long to get the note from my office, he said. Linda shakes her head, and glances out the window. Yes, I'm sure. My friend Karen is on her way here. As a matter of fact, there she is, with the green umbrella. She nods toward a woman approaching the car. I texted her earlier and asked if she could come, when I realized we might need to separate. She's like me, believes in ghosts and demons and all that, so she was eager to help. But I don't want you to be alone. What if the demon, or whatever it is that's after you, shows up? She said, looking at him. I'll be fine, he said, trying to sound more confident than he feels. I'm just going to be in the car, park in the garage, take the elevator up to the office, and grab the note. My colleagues might be there, and even if they're not, the receptionist definitely is. I'll only be alone for a few minutes, and nothing's going to happen. I promise. I'll be careful, he said. Linda hesitates, then nods. Okay, but keep the pocket knife in your hand the whole time. William smiles, though his heart is racing. He nods in agreement, just as Karen taps on the window. Linda opens the door and steps out, pausing to look at him one last time. Drive safely, and come straight back when you have the note, she said, her voice firm. Run if you see anything or anyone acting strange. I will. See you soon, William replied, trying to push away the knot tightening in his stomach as Linda closes the door. He drives off. His thoughts races as he makes his way to the office. It is supposed to be a simple task, just pick up the note and head back. Yet, every fiber of his being is on edge, a primal fear that something is lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike. As William approaches the office building, he pulls into the underground parking garage. The place is eerily quiet, the kind of silence that amplifies every sound. The clinking of his keys, the echo of his footsteps, they all seems louder than they should be. He shakes off the unease and steps into the elevator, and presses the button for the 5th floor. The elevator ascends slowly, the familiar chimes signaling each floor. William takes a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. The doors slid open with a soft hiss, revealing the dimly lit hallway that leads to his real estate agency's entrance. The door is just ahead. He quickens his pace, eager to get this over with. But when he reaches for the door, it doesn't budge. Confused, William jiggles the handle again. Why is it locked? This isn't right, he thinks. A cold shiver runs down his spine. He fumbles for his keys, unlocking the door with an uneasy sense of urgency. As he steps inside, the doorbell above the door chimed, a sound he'd heard countless times before. But today, it felt different, louder, more ominous. It startled him, even though he knew it was coming. William curses under his breath for being so jumpy. He glances around the empty office, the dim light casting long shadows across the floor. Everything seems normal, yet the tension in the air is palpable. He can't shake the feeling that he is being watched, that something unseen is here just out of sight. The office is shrouded in darkness, the only light coming from the faint glow of William's phone. And though a bit of daylight filters through the windows, the overcast sky outside casts a dull, gray hue. The large plants crowding the windows further block the already faint light, casting deep shadows and filling the room with a dim, almost somber atmosphere. As his eyes adjusted, he noticed the small but telling details on his colleagues' desks, clues to their whereabouts. Manny, with his habit of leaving a glass golf ball figurine whenever he snuck out for a round of golf, had clearly left for the course. On Linus's desk sat a small clay figure of a blue whale, indicating he was at a meeting with a potential bid client. These quirky ornaments were part of the office culture, a silent communication method between the team. He makes his way to the receptionist's desk, where a large pink note catches his eye. In Jana's neat handwriting, it reads, "Got a sudden fever, had to go home, couldn't reach any of you. I locked up and turned off the lights. I'm still answering calls from home. Will be back when I'm better. Regards, Jana." The note left William feeling uneasy. He was alone, truly alone, in this vast, silent office. "Okay, just grab the note and get out," he muttered to himself, trying to suppress the growing anxiety. Nothing's going to happen, he reassured himself. He walks past the deserted workstations, and enters the break room and walks to the end of the room where the door to their storage is located. He opens the door and the lack of windows made the storage a pitch-black void. William reaches for the light switch, flicking it up and down in quick succession, but the room remains stubbornly dark. His pulse quickens as he pulls out his phone, activating the flashlight. The narrow beam of light cut through the darkness, revealing a cluttered storage room. As he directs the light further into the room, he sees something, a figure in the corner. Instinctively, he reaches for the pocket knife. The cold metal reassures his trembling hand. He takes a cautious step forward, the light struggling to fully illuminate the shadowy figure. Another step brings the figure into sharper focus. It is just a mannequin. Relief washes over him, though it was quickly followed by a surge of embarrassment. Right, Manny mentioned moving that thing in here. Manny had told the team about a client's apartment, where the mannequin had stood awkwardly in the corner, its appearance so bizarre that Manny had joked it looked like something out of a German porno. William shakes his head, chastising himself for getting so spooked by something so mundane. Focus now, he thinks to himself, turning his attention to the large storage shelf along the wall. He quickly locates the box with his mother's belongings and starts to lift it. He hears a noise, a door creaks open. His heart leaps into his throat as the doorbell rings, signaling that the office entrance has been opened. William's body goes rigid with fear. He hurries out of the dark room, but as he reaches the lit area, he slows his pace, trying to remain calm. He partially closes the storage room door behind him, stopping to listen. The silence that follows is deafening. "Hello? Is someone there?" William called out, his voice sounding small in the large office. The only response is his own echo. He sets the box down in the break room and cautiously approaches the entrance. The door is open, the security it once provided now gone. He peeks through the opening but sees nothing out of the ordinary. He pushes the door closed and locks it, but the sense of unease clings to him like a shroud. The thought of leaving without the note crosses his mind, but he knows he can't. He has to get it, no matter how much his instincts scream at him to flee. As he retraces his steps back to the break room, the office feels unnervingly vast, as if it has grown in size, filled with dark corners and hiding places. The large, expensive plants cast eerie shadows, and the massive furniture seems to loom larger in the dim light. Every desk, every piece of equipment is a potential hiding spot for someone, or something, sinister. The thought gnaws at William, his imagination running wild with possibilities. What if someone has slipped in unnoticed? What if they are hiding right now, waiting? By the time he reaches the break room again, the knot in his stomach tightens. He picks up the box, opening it to glance at the contents. There are old photos of him and his siblings as children. Mementos of a time that feels worlds away. His eyes fall on a glass jar filled with some kind of sand, labeled holy burnt salt. He frowns, puzzled. What the heck is that, he wonders, as his fingers sift through the items in the box. But the note, the reason he came, is nowhere to be found. Panic starts to bubble up as he realizes it isn't in the box. He frantically searches. Then, he spots it lying just outside the storage room. It must have fallen out when he left the room. He moves cautiously toward the storage room, standing in the doorway. The door is open, and William can't remember if he closed it or just left it slightly ajar. His thoughts tangle in fear and confusion. Could it have opened by itself, he wonders, his heart pounding louder with each passing second. He takes a step back and listens intently. Nothing. The silence is thick, almost suffocating, but it calms him slightly. He reaches down, picks up the note, and slowly unfolds it, the paper rustling loudly. As his eyes scan the note, the words seem to blur for a moment. To you, my children, we drift in quest, in search of truths that never rest. We wander far, through night and day, in hopes that answers will find their way. We yearn to know, to grasp what's real, yet what we seek, we barely feel. We ask who, what, and why we're here. As time slips by, the path unclear. Certainty fades as doubts entwine, yet our journey is yours and mine. Through endless quests and paths we trod, we seek the truths that lie beyond. We wander lost in shadows deep, through superstitions that still creep. We wait for signs and seek the light, to pierce the veil of endless night. Yet, as we wander, we must accept the mystery that we've come to respect. The other side may hold the key to the truths we yearn to see. Still, we strive, with hearts that yearn, to understand, to learn, to discern. Though answers may be far and grand, we grasp the truth with trembling hand. From Mom. I wrote this poem for you, thinking of everything that has happened. I don't know how to make you realize the seriousness of the situation. Of the three of you, only Dennis believes in the other side. But you all must believe or else you are in danger. I happened to attract a demon when it called to me and I answered. Stupid of me. And now it follows me. It takes the form of those it has killed to get close to me. It wants my soul. And if it gets my soul, it will come after you. I have canceled the hike that Dennis and I were going to take. You kids must stay away from that forest. Don't even go near it. And if someone calls to you, don't answer. And if the demon catches you, commit suicide. That is my plan. If I can't get rid of it, I plan to commit suicide. All to protect you. And tell your father that I'm sorry for the break-in. I needed to pour holy burnt salt so that the demon couldn't enter the house, or the property, as I poured it there too. Your father is not even in the country and Dennis was busy with his girlfriend, so I had no choice. I had to break in, because they weren't home. The demon knows where the house is because I visited Dennis there once when the demon was after me. I didn't know then that the demon was after me, otherwise, I would never have gone there. But now, as I said, it can't enter the house. It will be like hitting a wall if it tries. If I die, you must continue to place holy burnt salt in the corners of every room. Otherwise, the protection will disappear. This doesn't apply outside where there's grass or dirt, there the protection remains. But the salt spreads out and gets cleaned up indoors. Outdoors, however, it sinks into the ground and leaves behind long-lasting protection. So refill it indoors, and on the paving stones in the front yard or the protection there will vanish. I'm going to try to kill it. I haven't put any salt in my place, because I'm going to lure the demon in, and pour salt to trap it, and then kill it. But I must lure it deep into the apartment for the plan to work. You will only read this letter if I die. Otherwise, I'll tell you everything myself. I hope I manage to kill the demon. But if not, I hope you succeed. I love you, and don't forget, if the demon catches you and starts cutting your skin, commit suicide. It's the only way to protect your loved ones. Kisses, Mom. The final lines were a dagger to his heart. She had faced the demon alone, had tried to kill it, and had known the risks. Her plan had been one of desperation, a last-ditch effort to end the horror she had unleashed. William could see her in his mind's eye, standing in her apartment, salt in hand, waiting for the inevitable confrontation. And when it had come, when the demon had begun its gruesome work, she had chosen death over allowing it to take her soul. William stares at the letter, his vision blurring as tears well up. It is dated just days before her death. His mother had known that Walter wasn't Walter, that it was the demon wearing his face. She had tried to trap it, to end it, but in the end, she had failed. The demon had been too strong, too relentless. And when it had started cutting her, she had done the only thing she could. She had taken her own life to protect them. Everything made sense now. And though it terrified him, William knew, deep in his soul, that he believes her letter. Then a sudden sound, a heavy bang from the dark storage room, shattering the silence and jolting William out of his thoughts. He freezes, his breath catching in his throat as he stares at the black void beyond the door. Then, a whisper, soft but insidious. His name, spoken in a voice that sends ice through his veins. William. The voice is familiar, almost comforting, but it carries an undertone of malice that makes his blood run cold. William's instincts take over. Fear floods his system, urging him to flee, to escape whatever nightmare is lurking in that room. He turns on his heel and starts to run, his footsteps frantic and uneven as he dashes for the exit. A tremendous force slams into him from behind, sending him sprawling to the floor. The impact is brutal, his body crashes into a table, and a sickening crack echoes through the room as his head hits the edge. Dazed, William feels warm blood begin to trickle down his face, mingling with the cold sweat that drenches his skin. Pain blooms across his skull, sharp and immediate, but there's no time to dwell on it. He struggles to his feet, adrenaline surging through him, but before he can regain his balance, he's violently shoved to the ground again. This time, he lands hard on his side, the breath knocked out of him. Desperation fuels him as he lashes out with his legs, kicking wildly in the direction of his unseen assailant. He feels a solid connection, a fleeting moment of hope as his foot strikes something, but it only buys him a second of freedom. He scrambles to his feet, but after only 2 steps, he is yanked back down as if an invisible hand grabs him by the ankle. William crashes to the floor, landing on his stomach with a bone-jarring thud. The pain in his head intensifies, but a new agony quickly overtakes it, sharp, searing, as if a blade is dragged along his skin. His right leg is on fire, the skin splitting open with every brutal stroke. He thrashes, kicking out with his free leg, but it's no use. The force holding him down is too strong. And the pain only grows worse, spreading up his leg like wildfire. He screams, a raw, primal howl ripped from the depths of his soul as the demon's blade slices deeper. The agony is excruciating, a searing pain that obliterates all thought, leaving only a mindless, consuming torment. His body betrays him, trembling and helpless, unable to resist the persistent force that pins him down, carving mercilessly into his flesh. Another scream tears from his throat, echoing with pure, unbridled despair. William knows what he must do, but doubts there's enough time or strength left to escape. He begins writing something on the floor with his own blood, an attempt to convey his remorse, to let them know he betrayed them. The knife he dropped lies just out of reach. The demon's presence is overwhelming, inescapable. Then, a flicker of light catches his eye, the sun breaking through the clouds and streaming through the window. William's gaze locks onto the window as he feels the life being drained from him, uncertain of what his next, final act will be. He finishes writing the last word in his blood, and with that, the decision is sealed.